Is there anybody else coming down the stairs? All right, that's it? Okay.
It's a Mevo.
Okay, so how this works. 12 contestants in 3 preliminary rounds. Those rounds are over. Today is the finals. What we did was we chose one winner from each of the preliminary rounds, and then we chose a at-large winner chosen from the runners-up from each preliminary round. So that gives me the 4 finalists to compete in the final round, which is now. The overall winner chosen, it says about 70 minutes from now, right? So the overall winner will be chosen today. So when the competition's over, the judges will step outside. When that happens, we actually are lucky to have some actual entertainment instead of just me trying to talk for however long they're out. Homer, stand up. We have Killer DBA here. So while the judges are being judgy outside, he's going to step forward and give us a couple of songs. When the judges are ready to come back in, Homer will step off, and then we will get the winner. I think Joey will announce the winner, and that will happen about 70 minutes from now. All right, that's how it works. Here's the prize. You get bragging rights. You get fame and no fortune. If history serves you well, you probably have a job with Microsoft at some point. You will get a lovely sash right here. I'm not going to tell you have to wear it all the time, but the more times you wear it, it will make you feel good. Okay. Guaranteed speaking slot at next year's summit, which will take place November 6th through 9 here in sunny Seattle, right? So that's probably the best part, obviously, of this whole experience for the 4 people that are about to go today. So who here has not yet spoken at summit but wants to? Everybody here has spoken? Right, so there's a handful. This is a wonderful opportunity to give somebody that's never spoken at summit yet the chance, right, to do that in a kind of a fun way. And it's a great idea from one person who's not here with us today. So is this being streamed, by the way? Is Denny watching? Tell everybody, just say, hi, Denny.
Hi, Denny.
And Denny, thank you for putting this together and helping get people their first chance speaking at Summit.
Wait, can you say that over again so I can video?
No.
Oh, come on, Tom.
You had your chance. Okay, so the rules. I've got 3 rules and a sorting hat. This is how it's going to work. You are allowed 5 minutes to give your presentation. I believe all my speakers are over here, so I'm addressing this side because I don't want the judges to, complain about this.
We're more judgy at the time of this round.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. That's good feedback. They're more judgy this time. But you're not going to stop them. There's no stopping of the time. Right.
Yeah.
5 minutes. If you go over, you go over. Nobody's going to stop you. But, as you just heard, they will be more judgy because you've already given one presentation, each one of you. So you have a chance at this point to have practiced and rehearsed and gotten below that 5 minutes. So therefore, they reserve the right to be more judgy about that. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the clock won't start until you are ready. So as you've done before, you will approach, you will get set up, you will test your mic, and then say something simple like, let's get started. That's when we will generally start the clock for you. Let's see. The other rule is simply, while you're on the stage, I just sit there and watch you intently. No pressure. Now, we don't have an order yet, so we have a sorting hat. We have the Captain Morgan sorting hat, apparently.
The naming rights were quite expensive.
Yes, yes.
It was a battle.
Yes. Whose hat? Sorry. Yes, sir. We have a question already? Okay.
Does each judge have his or her own clock? Or
Yes, timing is independent.
Each judge has their own clock, but it's going to be within a few seconds of each other. Okay. So I'm going to draw names now. I will do all 4 at once, so you will know the order ahead of time. We won't wait to announce it, okay? So this is the sorting hat. So representing Slytherin, Simon. Simon will be going first. All right, what's another house here? Gryffindor? All right. Joey? Joey, why do I have 2 Simons? Okay, so here's the deal. I can do process of elimination.
Yeah.
Although I've forgotten your name, Mr. Fry. What's your first name? Jeremy. I knew it was a J. Jeremy. Jeremy, you are not Simon. You will go second. Jonathan is going third. Dennis will go last. Okay. Thanks for that, Joey. Judges. Now is my favorite time. We get to announce the judges to each other. You know what? I'll have you introduce yourselves, although I'd love to say something about each and every one of you, more importantly, to you. All right. Now, just go down the line and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Karen, data chick on Twitter. I'm very judgy, and fonts and readability are my big pet peeve.
And she's not a lawyer, but she wants to be one. I'm Joey D'Antoni. I can't write names on pieces of paper to save my life. That's why I work on databases.
Just not my databases, right? Oh, yeah, that's true. Mark Sims, Azure Engineering, and I help people make better choices the second time around.
Hi, I'm Kendra Little. I'm also Kendra Little on Twitter, but with an underscore. And this has been my favorite and best past summit I've ever attended, in no small part because all our contestants have been amazing. And this final is going to be something to see.
Alan Hurt, SQLHA on Twitter, and I'm the pedantic one.
Oh, you're the pedantic one.
Yes.
Okay, contestants. So first up is Simon. Now's the time to get started. Are you ready, sir? Oh, the other part of the rule that they knew that I didn't mention, make sure everybody else, if they talk, the clock starts, right? So as Simon gets ready, he's going to be smart enough not to engage with me whatsoever. Can I help you with anything? Are you about ready? No pressure. Usually I have, and I also have I have bios for people who provide a bio slide. So this is the thing about Simon I knew is that he didn't provide a bio slide. Now, I'm not saying the judges are going to be judgy about that, but I'll tell you a few things about Simon. Simon's from Chicago. He really likes data. Well, a little bit. He really likes Azure. And he's just about ready. He's turning his phone on and going to place it right near the transistor, so we'll have feedback. No, he won't do that. Good? All right, the stage is yours, good sir. I will just sit here and watch.
Okay, let's go. So my name's Simon Whiteley. Hello, and we're talking about Logic Apps. It's a new Azure component. Anyone use Logic Apps yet? Okay, not too many people, one or two. So for those not familiar with it, it is a new Azure component. It's part of the enterprise integrations, and it's a lightweight orchestration tool. So you can use it to ping other things and tell things to happen. So as a BI person, as a person doing data analytics and warehousing, what I want to do is this kind of thing. I want to do an event has happened. I want some work to happen. So there's a new file, there's a change of file, there's some data somewhere, process it, put it somewhere, do something with that data. So a little bit of history, the way that used to happen is via SSIS. So I'd build something, I'd have an SSIS box always turned on, constantly doing this kind of thing, polling, sitting there going, has anything changed? If it has, make a decision, go that direction, that kind of thing. But that means I need a server turned on all the time. So in Azure, we tend to use a thing called Data Factory. Now that still does that kind of pipelines of data movement. It's an orchestration tool of its own, but it's not very good at that control flow kind of thing. It doesn't have the functionality to say, something's changed, there's an event happened, something's triggered, therefore go that direction or that direction. So there's a bit of a hole, we've got that gap. And surprise, surprise, given this talk, that gap is filled by Logic Apps, at least for me. So Logic Apps can do that kind of thing. It can watch things and say when a new tweet comes in, when an email comes in, when a SharePoint file is changed, then do something, do that, go that direction. So it's very much kind of a lightweight orchestration tool for me. It can talk to a ton of different things. So you can have it in Outlook, you can have it talking to FTP, you can have it talking to a web service. There's a ton of different things it can do. So you can do things such as ping my home server, see if it's still online. If it's not online, send a complaint tweet to my internet service provider and say what's going on. And send an email and log a support request and keep doing that every minute until they actually fix it. Or I can do, an actual data loading process. So rather than having an evening kind of data load that goes on, like a normal batch processing window, I can say, process the data when it comes in. I want an event-driven, a trickle feed of data. So that's what I use logic apps for. That's my thing. So because I'm an idiot, we're going to do a live demo. So we're going to get Azure up. I'm going to say, let's build something. I'm going to build a sentiment analysis. So when someone tweets with a hashtag, I'm going to call cognitive services. We're going to actually say, use machine learning to say, were they nice about me, were they not? And put it into a database so I can go and find the people who are not nice about me. That's the plan. OK, so let's try this. So this is what it looks like. So again, you can do it entirely through the portal, or you can do it in Visual Studio. The Visual Studio designer looks like this. They share that same design surface. So we're going to start off. Going to use Twitter. They'll give me a few options in the middle. So jing. So that's going to come back, and it's going to give me what actions I can do. So I'm going to use a trigger. When a new tweet is posted, what do I want to do? I want to say hashtag Simon Idle. So whenever time someone mentions it, and then I've got an interval, and I can choose to do it. How often do I want to do it? So at this point, every 3 seconds, because I'm looking for a lot of action right now. So I'm going to add a new step. So I'm going to add an action. I'll go down. It can be a new choice. So that's all I need to do for that trigger. That's now set up and working. And I can go in here and say text analytics. That's my cognitive services. I want to detect sentiment. I can pick my text. So one thing to note is I've gone through and set all these connections up in advance to make this quicker, but essentially I've just put passwords in. So I'm going to add the tweet text. So that's going to send the text of the tweet off to the API and return a score. And again, that's all I need to do with that. Got a new action, and here I'm going to do a SQL Server one. But in the name of speed, I've actually got one pre-populated for you. Same thing, I've pointed it at a table, and it's given me all the attributes, all the columns of that table, and I just need to put variables into there. There's one that's slightly different at the top. That's the tweet date. And I'm going to use an expression for that. So I can actually do manipulation of my variables. So if I go in here, all the way down, I'll try UTC date. So I can just put a date time stamp in there. OK, so that is done. So I hit save. At that point, that deploys it. That is live and in production and collecting tweets and writing it to a database. That is as much as there is in terms of the actual development process. So in terms of a quick example of a tweet I made earlier, we can dig into it, and we can see the results. We can see what's actually going on. Every time it executes, we can actually go and see what happened in that execution. So in this one, woohoo, hashtag Simon Idle, what an amazing demo. Speaker Idol winner, maybe. I've been Simon Whiteley. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well done, sir. Take that microphone off. And I just want you to know, I think right now, you're in the lead. OK, judges, so we start, I think, with Alan.
All right, so you're just like a second or two over, so that's negligible. But good job. It's clear that you took the feedback that we gave you and incorporated it. First of all, thank you for fixing that one SQL Server graphic and make it something else that matched the rest of the slide. That looked good. Also, again, you picked up on all the other feedback, like changing it to 3 seconds and things like that. Really, just it was good. I don't have a lot of really huge criticism there, so good job.
Thanks so much for speaking twice in one day. And it was fun to watch the second time in the same day. You share a love and excitement for the topic that I really feel. No, I don't think it's too much. It's just right. Like I had never heard of this before today, and now I want to go out and try it and do stuff. There's I really love how much feedback you incorporated. There's a couple things I noticed. In the first one you did, right before the demo, you said, it's gonna get dangerous. And that was really, there was something about that quote that I wrote it down. I was like, that's awesome. Today, or the second one you said, instead you said, because I'm an idiot. Which self-deprecation isn't always bad, but I loved the first one so much that I would just encourage you to keep that one, and that next time, like, embrace the danger, and that the danger of doing these demos live is something we enjoy. So emphasize that. I really liked that. Sometimes you were turning your head a bit quickly, and it made the microphone, the volume, wave a little. Those are little fine-tuning points. Thanks so much. I enjoyed it.
Great improvement on contextualizing the feature, what it does and where you would use it, as well as both tying the scenario back to a data audience. Nicely done there. Only thing I was looking for was in the demo slide, the setup, was it actually just showing the flow. Little minor thing there, just visually.
I'd argue that Logic Apps show the flow.
Well, why don't you wait for your turn before you argue with them?
Yeah.
Wow, so now we're judging each other. And nice job on the cutaway to get you just under time, or just just on time. That was a nice little optimization there.
Thanks, Mark. Good job, good improvements. I agree with Mark on the cutaway. I also kind of agree with him that I would have liked to have seen an end-to-end flow, but I can understand where Logic Apps show that. That was the point I was trying to make. Good job.
Still great energy, even after speaking twice in a day and having to incorporate all of our feedback or decide whether you were going to or not. So you still didn't provide a bio slide. So one of the reasons why, so I don't know, and I've even talked to the minions, is that, we don't know if you provided a bio and it just got missed, or...
I pinged one at like 5 a.m. to Joe.
Oh, okay.
That's
So,
my bad. That is
so no, wait. Yeah, pass the buck. So the reason you want to provide a bio to the organizers is sometimes people select the session they go to based on not just the topic, but the speaker and whether or not it looks like the speaker is going to cover that topic, or maybe their point of view for it. One of the tips for the mic issue, so the wrestling and also the fading, is try to turn your body a little bit more. I know it's hard with these setups with the slides behind you, but if you do that, if you turn more in the shoulders, then it will move around less. But thank you.
I can confirm that he sent it to me and I missed it.
Okay. So you did provide it, so
Wow.
good.
but super late last minute. That is
But
nice.
great
But
job.
he made up for it by putting your name in the sorting hat twice. Okay, judges, we're done. Thank you, Simon. Next, we have not Simon, we have Jeremy. Welcome. Oh, and actually, Jeremy does have a slide. Jeremy has over 9 years of experience in the SQL space. I don't know where the SQL space is. That might be a place upstairs or something, yeah. As a business intelligence architect with a background in database administration, he's spoken at many SQL Saturdays throughout the country, as well as local and virtual SQL user groups. I'm guessing the virtual group is the one that's in that SQL space. Yeah, okay. He's a workout fanatic who often spends time trying to bridge the gap between keyboard strokes and workout reps. So lots of push-ups, like during meetings and things like that. Do you think you could just bust out 10 for us right now? Burpees? No. What? Burpees? Yeah, maybe a few. All right. Are you about ready? Are you really ready? You sure? Because I'm just going to say a couple of things besides the fact you didn't have that and you don't have a microphone on. All right. I don't want to give you too much help, but... Okay, I'll just be over here. The stage is yours, sir.
Good afternoon and welcome to using non-clustered column store indexes for real-time data analytics. So as we know, technology always evolves. It is never stagnant, it never changes. In the 19th century, we utilized coal-burning or wood-burning cast iron stoves. The issue was not the ability to cook on these stoves. The issue was the preparation time to heat the elements on top of the stove. Fast forward to today's society, we are a microwave instantaneous technology, instantaneous organization or civilization. We want things fast. So why should our data be any different? We've gone from watching a sporting event on television to waiting the next day in order to look at our local newspapers and to look at the box scores to get analytics on that data. However, in today's day and age, we can pull up a fantasy app in real time and get that data right away. Now, I do have baseball and NBA statistics, but you can pertain this to any sport or any data that you would like that you can get via digital media. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What are some options in SQL Server that give us the ability to perform more real-time data analytics? By show of hands, how many are familiar with a simple aggregate query of such that's on our screen? So basically everyone in the room. So this talk is for you. 3 things to note. My table is about 13 million rows, and I'm only utilizing 4 columns from this table. There are no where clauses to seek this data on a data page, so I'm going to have to scan my entire table. What happens in this kind of scenario is once your table starts to grow vertically, this kind of query performance will degrade significantly. What happens? You might engage a BI organization or consultants to build some complex data warehouse. Now, for those who are in business intelligence, this might look familiar to you. To others, this might look like a bunch of stuff. So, this is your cast iron approach. Once you get to your presentation layer, you do get the gratification of getting your data fairly quickly. However, how do we get to a microwave approach, eliminate everything in between, and be able to utilize that analytics query directly against our OOTP data without sacrificing performance? That's where column store index technology comes in. Simply put, it's Vertipack technology, which is Beetlejuice witch doctor compression, mixed with pushing that data into memory, which is outside of the buffer pool, and it's utilizing column store object pool. Altogether, that reduces disk reads, which help performance, and then with column store indexes, it utilizes a batch execution that processes rows in parallel. So in order to understand the storage capabilities of column store, we need to look at how a row store table is defined and stored. We have multiple data pages that consist of all columns and some rows. So as I mentioned, my analytics query needs to scan all of this into memory to only pull out the data that it needs. A column store index, however, are row groups that have column segments that are compressed, that are pushed into memory or into that column store object pool. So for sake of time, I have created a non-clustered column store index on this 13 million row table. Now you might also say, well, what about a clustered column store index? A clustered column store index and a non-clustered column store index do have a lot of differences about them. We will only be talking about non-clustered. We can specify a column set in a non-clustered, whereas a clustered index, column store index, covers the entire table. There are some other changes and some other differences. If you want to talk about those after, we can do that. Here's my 4 columns that I have specified. So now let's get to the results. So I've already run this with and without the non-cluster column store index. So everyone should be on the edge of their seat kind of anticipating this because you all ran this analytics query before, right? I mean, you want to see how this is going to perform and what our results are. Can I potentially use this? You can see we have significant performance improvement with our column store index. We've greatly decreased logical reads. We've greatly decreased CPU time as well as duration. We get over an 11 times performance gain with this non-clustered column store index in this scenario. So you might ask, where should you go from here? Don't go back to work on Monday and flush down your money that you spent on your traditional data warehouse. Still gives you some benefits. However, non-clustered column store indexes or column store indexes in general do give you some abilities to get more faster real time. But be cautious because there are some downsides. You need to make sure your table is appropriate for that. Thank you for attending.
Hey. Well done, Jeremy. And I'm just going to be honest, I think you're top 2 right now. Good job. Okay, judges, starting with Karen.
Yeah. So great job again. I still want to give you kudos because everything was so readable. I mean, that's my pet peeve, right? So everyone applause readable sign. About it. No squinting required. You did a great job taking the feedback and presenting the results. I really don't have much to add to that.
No, I agree. You incorporated all the feedback really nicely. The only thing I saw, and it's super minor, you pointed at the screen a couple of times. And in the big room, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but in a big room like this where you have 2 sides, that can be a little distracting.
No, a great job incorporating stuff. When you're starting off, watch out for inverting what you said, because your second sentence was technology never changes.
I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic.
The judges have decided that you were being sarcastic. It has been explained, you have been sarcastic, and it's actually much better that way. It was actually pretty awesome. Yeah, that's all I got.
Great job. I love your data warehouse shit joke. I'm just going to say the whole word. Just going to say the whole word. The first time you did it today, I was like, it was so smoothly done. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was on purpose. And then I was like waiting for it because I was like, I'm going to find out if it was that was so good. That was terrific. I do think if you get a big slot on this and you're doing an hour on it, get somebody to go over some of the column store technologies, just tighten it up a little bit. The use of the word parallel kind of threw me at one point, and I think it's just tighten up the terminology. I ask people to do that for me too. So I'm not picking on you for anything I wouldn't pick on myself for. Great job, really enjoyed it.
So just really smaller criticism, and a couple things I really noticed that you improved. So I really liked on the one slide where you had that animation where you had the stuff joke. You took it where it was just all that stuff before, and then you made it so it was an animation that it like shrunk. I thought that was very effective. That really sort of demonstrated what you're trying to say is get all the stuff out of the middle. And again, I noticed again all the improvements, especially like on the results. It was brought up earlier that it was just kind of text sitting there, and you made it into that table. My only one real criticism, to be honest with you, was on the one slide where you said you basically lower your disk reads and batch execution, you kind of threw them in as black text at the bottom, that it wasn't hard. I would have done something else, like gotten like the Beetlejuice picture off and maybe had something else, because it's kind of hard to read that. I was like, oh, he's talking about it, and it's there too, right? But other than that, I mean, like you said, you incorporated everything. It was a great job.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeremy. Yep. Jonathan, you are next, I believe. And how you doing today? Yeah, not good. Not good. I noticed, though, he's wearing his sash. Wow. As we said, wearing the sash wasn't going to get you any extra points, but it would avoid you losing points, right? Yeah. Okay. You just about ready? No? You sure I can't help you with anything? I do know a few things about Jonathan, despite the missing bio slide. He is from Columbus, Ohio. Did I get that right this time? I usually say Cleveland just because I want to upset him. Oh, there's Alan. I don't want to say any more. And he does data analytics. Other than that, I mean, he wears a sash. That's about all I know. Oh, and the ascot. Oh, I forgot that. That is nice. And the pocket square. There you go. And he is just about ready. I mean, it's not like we're waiting. Hey, you need this, right? Okay. Sir, the stage is yours. I will get out of your way, but I will stare at you intently from right over here.
I'm ready. Start the clock. All right, so last session of the day, right? We get to have some fun. So today we're going to talk about horror vacui, right? So before we get started, since I didn't have a bio slide, I am Jonathan Stewart, also known as Sequelox. If you forget my name, I'm just a dude with hair that wears pocket squares and eats pizza with a fork and knife. So let's jump into the topic. So horror vacui. Horror vacui is actually Latin for a fear of white space. And it's also known as kenophobia, which is Greek for fear of empty. And it pretty much means just a feeling of any space with detail. So that space could be any type of medium, could be the room, could be auditory. Right, we'll see that in a second. And it was brought to light by an Italian art critic by the name of Mario Praz. Mario Praz was an extremely influential critic during the Victorian times, and one of the things that he was upset about was the suffocating feel of Victorian interior design. And one of the things I like to say about him is that he was the original Twitter troll, because he literally just clowned designers and developers and artists all day, and there was nobody that could say anything because Twitter didn't really exist. But as you can see here, it was extremely cluttered. And so that whole concept actually transfers not just from a physical space, but to artwork as well. And that kind of messes with you, doesn't it? It's right, next slide, right? But one of the things I'm gonna show you, it doesn't just go from physical space and interior design and artwork, it's also auditory too. So let me give you a quick example. So this is the United States Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll say it right this time. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands for the nation of God, and stands indivisible, liberty, and justice for all, right? So what part of that was actually emphasized? Did anybody catch any type of emphasis, right? No emphasis there? One of the cool things about telling your own story is that it's your story. You can't let the audience infer what they want to infer. It's your story, right? I'm not going to go out and make a movie and let the audience figure out what the movie was about. That's my story. So what would I do in what I just did before? Instead of just doing the Pledge of Allegiance like that, I'm going to go back and put auditory white space. So watch this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's the same amount of data. I controlled the narrative. I controlled where I wanted you to focus. I controlled that. And I didn't let anybody pick and choose, right? So I added auditory white space. And the same concept applies actually to visualization. So this is a really nasty dashboard, right? Somebody decided, I need to see everything. No, you really don't need to see everything, right? And one of the things that's cool about dashboards is that you can drill through, you can add drill throughs, you can add drill downs, you can remove stuff, you can have tabs, right? And I know one of the things that we always have, we have our managers and bosses and peers they say stuff like, well, we have extra room. Why not just put it on there? Why are we not doing this? Let's add more to it. We don't always want to do that. So a quick way to change this, simple as that, right? That took like 5 minutes. And it looks 1,000 times better. It's easier to read. You take off the stuff that's not pertinent to the thing, so it's a quick glance. Think about your dashboard in your car. That's where the term comes from. You don't want to see everything. That's why certain things need computers to read, right? So with that being said, think about your white space. Control your message. Control your visualization. One of the great experts, Stephen Few, he says the greatest design element is not seen. Think about that. Don't fear white space. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Well done, sir. We will get the judging started. I believe Alan leads it off.
All right, better. So first of all, again, great job again. You certainly incorporated our feedback on the slides about, everything there. Your mic was scratchy at points. It might have been microphonics from the cable. Don't think it was Bluetooth or anything, but something was rubbing. That was weird when yeah, I mean.
It was the sash.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
But, honestly, I like the fact that, for example, you incorporated talking a little bit more about the tech this time instead of just sort of the abstract concept and then sort of saying, oh, hey, it applies to dashboards. The only thing that I would really criticize you on from this second time around was that when you went into the Pledge of Allegiance, you said, watch this, but what you were doing was auditory. So, sometimes choice of words, like, I knew what you were doing, but sometimes we all do this. It's not like, but just watch things like that. So watch this implies you're going to see something versus we were going to hear something.
Thanks for speaking it. I enjoyed it the second time as well. And you have such great word use too, like just suffocating and Twitter troll and like the way you was like, next slide. There's just I really appreciate that. I'm a little jealous of it, to be honest. I think you did a great job with when the mic fuzziness started, you didn't let it phase you. You kept going. I mean, in a longer presentation, you might have to stop and ask for help, but you've only got 5 minutes. We're timing you, and you were like, I'm gonna make it through. And you didn't look disturbed to me at all, which helped me relax. Loved it. One thing I would change I loved how you did the better dashboard slide, but I was confused at first looking at it because there was, I think, the improved dashboard in the middle and then other improved things around the edges. I just wasn't sure. I felt like maybe if that was broken out into more slides. You came in, I think, around 4 minutes. Yeah. So you could have had more time to kind of walk us slowly through the better one. You had a little time to spare, but that's kind of a fine-tuning note. I really appreciate how you listened to the feedback. Thank you.
Really great audience interaction. Really loved it. Fantastic job on taking that one message and just driving it straight down the middle the whole way. That was awesome, especially condensing into a tighter message from a couple days ago. That was really nice. And fantastic job on not letting the mic, I could not tell from your expression or your delivery that the mic was crackling in your own ears.
Yeah, great job. Just to echo what everyone else has said, your timing was good. Your timing wasn't just good, it was fantastic in terms of delivery, and then the way you move on the stage is very natural and graceful. That's something that takes a lot of learning, and you're a natural at it. I don't know how much you've trained at it, but you're fantastic.
Wow, I have nothing left to say, which is a thing. Other than triple bonus points. Wait, were you Gryffindor? Which were you? Bonus points, 10 points for Gryffindor for wearing the sash.
Is that it? Oh. Thank you, sir. Okay, last, Dennis. Dennis Torres, the CEO from Buffalo Info, a consulting and training company down in Brazil. And he's been working with SQL Server since version 6.5. That means he's experienced. He is a software architect with a specialist in .NET and C# since they were created.
And while he's
Are you
setting
looking for
up,
the
since I
HDMI?
have the mic, we had 0 women apply to be contestants for this
just,
contest.
detached there.
So I want to challenge everyone, not just the ladies and me, everyone to make sure that next year, if we're doing this, which I want to do, I'm hoping we do, that we get at least 20 women. What? Yeah, other years. But I mean, for this year, we got 0 women applying, even though I tried to get people.
He hasn't switched over.
I want to see 20 women apply to be a contestant at Speaker Idol, and I need all of your help to do that. We don't have 20 slots, but I want to see 20 women apply.
Also, to anyone who's applying, speak as much as you can between now and then. And it's not just for practice. I might be revealing secrets about the secret Speaker Idol selection algorithm.
Undocumented. Okay, start the clock. Welcome, and thank you for attending my session. My name is Dennis. This will be a 100-level talk about Central Management Server. First, raise your hands, who has attended my previous session? Nice, very good. This time, I will talk about how I helped John from the bookshop again, and he finally paid a lunch for me. After the first time, John promised to pay a lunch for me. However, every afternoon, he called me, canceling our lunch, and left me hungry for the rest of the day. This was a problem, so I decided to visit him and find out what was happening. I found John overwhelmed by work. I asked him about it, and he explained it. Well, after he helped us with our system, we got a lot of new clients. So we bought 100 new bookshops. Now, every day, I need to connect to every bookshop, one by one, to update product information. If any book is not selling enough, I need to give a discount to it. Interesting. But why don't you automate this process? You could use PowerShell or a SQL agent job. Why don't you automate this process? Well, it takes too much time to create a script for this. I'm too busy. I can't stop my work to do this automation. I understand. Please, raise your hand who already faced a situation like this on this image. This always happens, always happens. So, once again, I said, I may have a solution for you, John. Why don't you use a central management server? You could use the Register Servers window inside Management Studio, register your main office as the central management server, and register all your bookshops below the main office. This will allow you to execute your updates across all the servers at once. He was a bit skeptical, and I started a demonstration for him. First, I registered my default instance in my laptop as the central management server. The registration is the usual registration. However, it's done below the central management servers folder. Then I registered my other two instances in the server below the main office. Now I have the main office and two bookshops registered. I can select the main office, open a script file, and by executing these updates, we will see the result across both servers, solving the problem. Once again, I saw John's amazed face about the solution. He got enough time to pay my lunch. And I could finally appease my hunger. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So great job. So you chose to change your presentation to a different one. That's, I don't want to say it, not good or bad, either way. But wait. That's a yeah, no. But it's, you know, bonus points for doing that, I guess, because it's a risk, right? Because you did really well. You did well enough on the first one to win that preliminary round. You also still did a great job live zooming and annotating, which is like a doing a triple axel in the Olympics. Also, you got bonus points from an experienced person like me for using a Northwind database. And, you know, great sense of humor, good energy, easy to dance to, all of that.
Good job. I noticed you used presentation mode in SSMS, which was cool, which I called out the other day. By the way, if those of you who don't know, SSMS version 17 has present on. It doesn't have present off, but it's kind of cool for presentations. Anyway, good job with that. Your motion back and forth on the stage was a little bit distracting, but not terrible. And your images were fantastic. Also, fun fact, the first speaker idol, I believe the winning presentation was on Central Management Server.
Great job. I really like the boldness in going, you know what, let's tell part 2 of this story cold. Really great flow, you nailed the timing. Only thing is when you're doing the demos, just make sure not to have your auditory white spaces linger a little too long. Just a couple of times where you're in the middle of going through an action and just stopped for like 4 or 5 seconds. Very, very minor, but.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed part 2 of the story very much. I agree about the movement, and it was interesting because I love your speaking speed in terms of like how you start out and you're not rushed, and the cadence you start with, I feel like you're very relaxed, but then you were moving at a different speed than you were speaking, and that I think is part of what made it feel a little nervous, feel a little mismatched. So if you slow the body movements down a little, just please keep the speaking speed you're at, because I think it's really just fantastic. I love how you create and recap the conversations and do the voices. That's not easy to do, but you do it in just a really charming, accessible, wonderful way that draws people in. Love that so much. Keep that, please.
So good job, by the way, handling your laptop issues, which you also had the other day. And it didn't fluster you, especially because you have live demos. That everything sometimes can snowball, and it just becomes a big thing. I did like the fact, again, that it's been mentioned, but that you did live demo. That's really risky to do when you have literally 5 minutes to tell a whole story, and then go do a demo, right?
And his timing was perfect.
Yeah, you were under for pretty much. We haven't mentioned timing because pretty much everybody's been on time. We also, another thing that we haven't mentioned, just for those of you who were not in the room all week, everybody attributed their graphics. We didn't have to mention that you need to put attribution for your graphics. So none of this is worth mentioning because everybody got it right. The one thing that, again, pedantic Alan. I understand that you have they were named instances, but you had like Win SQL 2016 / SQL 2017. I would have just called out, I installed some SQL Server 2017 stuff on the box that has SQL 2016. Wow. I said I was pedantic.
I thought that looked like a real environment.
But yeah,
production?
Yeah, just production. Just because, again, for some people it might have been confusing. What is he actually using? Plus, the other thing about that, just from it's just, if people are wondering where they could go try this, if you say, well, I do this in 2017, and this is my demo, but it's also in other versions of SQL Server. Yeah, no, absolutely. But you were slightly under, so you could have just said, I'm doing this on SQL 2017. You can do this on any version that you have. Because if people want to go try it, it's almost like a call to action. It's like, oh, I think this is cool. Where can I go do this? But honestly, like I said, that was just kind of me being pedantic. You really did a good job. And this is going to be a tough choice for us because everybody did really well.
Obviously, we're stretching here on feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
Kick out the judges. You go be judgy. You will signal me when you are done. The other thing I want to make sure is all the speakers understand, I've been informed, we want to do a photo of all of you when this is done. So stick around when the announcement is made. Come forward so we can get that photo done, okay? Speakers, oh yeah, I'm sorry, speakers from all week. So if there's somebody in the audience that spoke in the first preliminary rounds and the judges were very harsh and mean to you, please, all the speakers from Speaker Idol come. All right, enough from me. Homer, you're up.
Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Homer McEwen, also known as Killer DBA. First of all, I want to give it up to all the finalists. That was awesome. Simon, Jeremy, Jonathan, Dennis, everybody was great. I'm even more inspired to get up here, not just to entertain, but to also present. So we're going to work on that, right? Jeff, Ree, Eric, we're going to do that, right? So Without further ado, because I don't think I have that much time, I want to get right into it. But before I do, I have to get into form. So, I don't know, it's something about the shades. There we go. Yes, I'm here. Hello. All right. So I like crowd participation. So this is the song that actually ultimately landed me here. Microsoft heard it, and they reached out, and they said, we like that. You're okay. Well, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to say, this just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. And you guys say, SQL Server 2016. But you don't have to sing it. Just say, SQL Server 2016. Let's try it one more. Let's try it this time. This just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. That works. That works. That works. So, okay, all right. That's Tim, everybody. He's awesome. And okay, we need a little volume. All right. When I say pass, you say summit. Pass. Pass. When I say pass, you say summit. Pass. Pass. This just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. SQL Server 2016. This just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. SQL Server 2016. June 1st, 2016. That was the day it came on the scene. You may call it SQL Server 16, but I refer to it as version 13. First of all, you can have more cores. Infinity, if you're able to afford. High availability, even went higher. Advanced OLTP in memory. Security, with always encrypted. In rest and in motion is protected. Scalability, virtually and physically. Real-time analytics, enhanced caching. Query store, native JSON support. Temporal, a whole new meaning to be restored. Live query stats, BI on your mobile. Data structured data, all the way to Azure. Come on. Biggest leap. Come on, guys, wake up. Here we go. Let's get some energy now. I think this side is a little bit better than this side, so let's do it again. In technology, what do we have? Polybase, so we can handle big data. In memory, column store, I adore. Basic and advanced, R integration, hyperscale cloud for the easy migration. TempDB, you know me. Look, during the install, man, you can have it all in DAS multiple TempDB data files. Can you imagine? No manually adding. Security now at the row level. Dynamic data masking. Thanks for asking. No more x86 32-bit, all 64. Is your hardware legit? And all the features I'm listing, it really depends on your SQL edition, whether it's Express or the Enterprise, to developer or the standardized. That's why I'm like, Microsoft's big. I would sing, but I hung out with Eric Peterson last night with karaoke and I lost my voice. Hey, I'm telling on you. Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. SQL Server 26. This just might be Microsoft's biggest leap in technology. Middle, let me hear the middle. SQL Server 26. All right, this side they're showing you guys up. Like, you guys started off strong, but then something happened. Let's try it again. Hey. But what about 21/7, 2017? I'm glad it's on the scene. I mean, I'm really feeling it. SQL Server finally on Linux. It's kind of like a dream, but it's better because I'm living it. Great prices, great features, Visual Studio Code, a great extension. Now that I can run it on Mac in my Docker, I'm feeling undefeatable. Nobody can stop them. Did I say all that? That was pretty cool. I had a little 2017 blurb. So look, I'm gonna stop it for the sake of time so that we can do more here. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Trying to beat the judges before they come back. Okay. So this next song is about backup and recovery. And I like to have a little saying. Can you turn the music up just a little bit, Tim? I'm putting your bits where your bite should be. Where your bite should be. I'm putting your bits where your bite should be. Check it out. Ooh, back it up. Easy, back it up. Killer DBA, let me explain to you what's up. The backup and restore really crucial to survival, minimize the data loss. Protection is so vital. Corruption, disasters, disgruntled employees. I'm gonna cover some backup and restore strategies. Never put the data file or backup on the same device just in case the drive fails. Also, I/O will prevail. Now let's consider, will the database get bigger? What's the nature of the data? Backup now, backup later. How much space will it take? Should I schedule for tomorrow? Is it simple bulk log or a full recovery model? Make sure you test it. The data is invested, so recovery tests regularly is suggested. Maintenance plans help us really understand, schedule jobs in place to reclaim more space. So let's go where your bytes should be. Putting your bits where your bytes should be. Oh, he got it. That was an awesome catch. Dude, you should play for Atlanta. Go Dogs, by the way. We're #1 now. Go Dogs. I saw a few Alabama in here, but it's all good. A full backup gets the data, T-logs everything. A differential only gets extents that have changed. The file backup would allow you to pick out the data file. File groups are the same. Back up the groups by name. Partial backup with the groups and files you pick and choose. With copy-only backup, there are no logs to include. Backups to ensure multiple copies. Transaction logs for the point-of-time recovery. Restore with the GUI or with TSQL. Restore it like a boss by cracking open PowerShell. Which media type? From the file or device, from the tape, URL, Azure Storage Container. The with option, replace keep replication. Restricted user to keep out other thread connections. Recovery, no recovery, standby. Master this or you can kiss your data bye-bye. You guys know that feeling, right? How many of you guys know that feeling? Oh man, I almost gave out. I'll get this out to somebody who can say, I'm putting in your bits where your bytes should be. I want to hear someone say it. Say it. Ooh, back it up. Easy, back it up. All right, so I'm trying to beat the judges before they come, so let's get into one more maybe. It's going to take a little maneuvering. What did the DBA say to the flash drive? I just made that up. I don't even know what that means. All right, so, don't know. What is this, 10? I don't like the, how do I get to a folder? Don't open him? Okay. Could I just ask Cortana? Oh, and then go to Killer DBA, and then pass on it. And let's do Which one, guys? Types of indexes or I'm in love with an IT girl? They said IT girl. May I have this water? That requires singing, and I don't know. IT woman. Yes. I'm in love with an IT woman. Love, it flows. I can do that. I will do that. That wouldn't be right. Yes, number 3. She's a woman, not a girl. She's old enough. Yeah. I promise I asked her. Guys, I will neither deny or confirm that this is a true story, but let's do it. I'm in love with an IT girl. Love, 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 yeah. I'm in love with an IT girl. Love, love. Ooh, oh, yeah. I'm in love with an IT girl. You guys have been there, right? Ooh, yeah. But I mean, good things can happen. Love and marriages come from working in IT with each other, right? So I'm a DBA in databases, I'm a world. And Till I met this girl, she is an app developer. See, I knew from the start this programmer stole my heart. Used to favor VB, now I'm digging C#. I love her source code, so efficient, good code. She even flipped the script, converted to JavaScript. My head is in the clouds like her applications are. Instead of diamonds and pearl, she likes Python and Perl. In the studio, I'm talking bits, that is, with my SSIS and her IP address. We fell in love from QA to test on our way to prod. Yeah, I'm okay with her. She's my developer. I'm in love with an IT girl. Love, 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 yeah, yeah. I'm in love with an IT girl. Love, love. And I just don't understand it. She's smarter than me. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, 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 yeah. So as a DBA, I did suggest an upgrade. SQL Server 17, not those other databases. She agreed, got approved from the upper management. Database is migrated, it was money well spent. On deployment night, RFC looked tight, but to add to the story, there was not enough storage. I'm killer DBA, and that's good for us both. Before we got started, I enabled auto growth in the studio. I'm talking biz, that is, yeah, yeah. We fell in love. My voice is gone. Oh, yeah, yeah. She's my developer. Yeah, yeah. Woo. Love, love, yeah. I'm in love with an IT woman, actually. Thank you.
Joey, do you want to do it or?
Thank you.
Yeah, new rule.
One of those is yours.
I got one.
Oh, you have one.
And it's hot.
Okay. The stage is yours.
First of all, on behalf of Denny, who's not here, and I wish he was, I'd like to thank everybody who participated, submitted. This was the best Speaker Idol we've ever had. The level of the competition was incredibly high. I've judged all 4 of these. I've never seen 4 topics this good. We had a really difficult time judging. And my phone's going to lock up right now. I've forgotten about what the rules were about announcing who the runner-up was, but we are in case the winner decides to go work for Microsoft and can't speak at Summit next year, which has happened twice. We actually had one person go work for Microsoft between the preliminary and the final.
Yeah.
So the first runner-up is Simon Wiley.
Simon.
And our winner is Jeremy Fry. Congratulations.
Jeremy. So who's doing the photo? Who? Then have him stand. Congratulations. Okay. So that concludes Speaker Idol 2017. Thank you to all of the judges, and thank you to everybody that participated, and thank you all for showing up. Look forward to doing this again next year. Thank you. Photo time.